It is not a coincidence that in this exact moment, an invisible yet unmistakable force is calling your name, as if the universe itself has leaned toward your soul to whisper a truth that has been buried for too long. The world around you is still loud, still crowded with noises that make people numb to their deepest vibrations. But there is another layer of sound, deeper and older, slipping through all that chaos. That sound does not come from imagination, not from sudden emotions or a random coincidence. It is a message meant only for you, sent to the one who carried a mark long before you knew you existed. Psalm 2:5-1-4 once said, "God reveals his covenant to those who fear him." And in the moment you hear these words, that covenant begins to glow like a line of fire in the night. Something within you has known this for a long time, even while your mind tried to hide it under the dust of doubt. Because there have been strange moments you could not explain, the feeling of being watched, not with judgment, but with quiet concern, the sense that you were being nudged toward a direction you had never considered, the feeling that no matter how life rises and falls, an invisible hand keeps you from slipping too far from the path set for you. You are not imagining it. It is the call that has followed you through the years, waiting for you to become still enough to hear it. When the mind begins to quiet down, the world around you no longer feels like meaningless chaos. You realize you are living in a turbulent age, information exploding, hearts shifting, invisible battles between hope and fear unfolding every day. Yet strangely, even in the darkest days, you still feel a point of light somewhere, small but steady, like a strange heartbeat deep within your soul. That heartbeat has never been silent. It has only waited for the right moment to be called by its true name, the message of the one who chose you. What makes you different from the rest is not that you are better, stronger, or outwardly special. It is that you have walked through things only a strong soul can endure, losses no one knows, disappointments you swallowed alone, moments when just a little more pain would have made you give up everything. You have stood at the edge of your life more times than you admit. You have walked through nights that felt endless, yet something kept you standing, kept you moving, kept you from disappearing into the dark. That something is not survival instinct. It is not luck. It is intentional protection. Your soul knows it has been preserved for a greater reason. Even when you doubted, even when you belittled yourself, even when you believed you were not important enough to be noticed, the truth has remained. You were never walking alone. Every upheaval did not come to break you, but to prepare you. Every fall was not a failure, but a pullback of the bow before the arrow is released towards something greater. You have been stretched, tested, and pushed into journeys ordinary people could not bear, because you have never been ordinary. Have you noticed it? Those moments when you feel someone nudging your intuition, calling your name in a language beyond words. A push to rise even when everything is against you. A sudden thought that makes you change direction at the perfect moment. A stranger saying something that answers the question you were holding in your heart. A small decision that steers you away from danger you never knew you avoided. These things are not random. They are fragments of a sacred letter sent long ago, and today you are finally reading it. When you listen more deeply, you feel the solemnity of this moment. Not the heaviness that brings fear, but the sense of standing before a sacred crossroads where your choice can open a completely new chapter of your life. The silence between these lines is not empty. It is space for your soul to breathe, to recognize that what you are hearing is real, meant for you, and no one else can take your place in this moment. The message does not come to make you bow. It comes to awaken what you have forgotten about yourself. Because you were once stronger, you were once brighter, you once walked with the confidence of someone who knew they belonged to something greater. But time and wounds made you shrink, made you think your dreams were too big, the calling within you too vague, and life too heavy to pursue what was sacred. The truth is, the calling never faded, only you grew tired. And when a soul is tired, God does not abandon it. He waits. He waits for the exact moment that soul begins to lift its head, even a little, to hear again. Today is that moment. The message is opening a door you never dared to touch. A door leading to something greater than your imagination. Not everything will be easy. The darkness will not vanish overnight, but the path you are about to take is the path all your years have been quietly preparing you for. Do you feel that strange weight settling into the air? It is not pressure, but confirmation. A message is being carved into the deepest part of you, reminding you that your life is not the result of random steps. Every mistake, every detour, every moment you thought you lost everything, all of it has led you here, to this moment where the calling has grown too loud for you to ignore. And so, in the whirlwind of life, you stand still for a few seconds, realizing you are listening not just with your ears, but with your soul. Realizing that this message is not only speaking about God, but speaking about you, the one preserved, the one called, the one appointed to step into a sacred plan written uniquely for you. From here, the journey begins. If you are ready to hear the message fully, the door ahead will open, not only for your life today, but for your soul through every chapter that follows. And as that moment still echoes in your mind, an old layer of memory rises like hidden waves beneath the surface, reminding you of the days when your soul felt worn down to its last grain. Those chapters do not return to hurt you again, but to show you why the calling now feels so strong. Because without everything you have walked through, you would never recognize the depth of the message coming toward you. You have lived through nights so silent that every light went out, and only the sound of your own breath filled the dark room. Nights when you asked why life could feel so heavy, why people could be so cruel, and why the things you thought were solid could crumble like sand. But in those nights, even when you did not notice it, one truth remained. You were never abandoned. Not for a single second. You have stayed awake countless times, trying to keep yourself from sinking. You have carried wounds no one else could see. There were disappointments so fragile that a single touch could make them burst open. Yet you still clenched your teeth and rose again. Still kept going. Still endured. Everyone saw you as normal, strong, stable. Only you knew that every step was a battle. Those challenges were not punishments. They were the compacted soil around a sacred seed that only chosen souls carry. Without pressure, that seed would not crack open. Without being buried, it could not grow. You once thought you were being pushed into darkness, but you were being placed where your young roots could quietly take hold. Do you remember? The times you trusted someone with your whole heart, only to be betrayed. The opportunities that seemed already yours, then vanished. The people you loved most sometimes became the ones who hurt you the deepest. You lived through nameless losses and countless breakings without reason. You could not understand why any of it happened. But now, standing in this moment, you can look back and see that every crack pointed to one truth: you were seen. None of your pain was ignored. Every tear was counted, because there was one who has quietly watched every beat of your heart. One who knows when you appear strong to the world yet feel fragile inside like morning mist. One who knows the prayers you never spoke and the moments when you wished you could run far away from your own life. That is why Psalm 9:1-4 rises again in your mind as a powerful confirmation. He will cover you with his wings, not as a poetic image, but as a truth that has been present in every turning point of your life. You think you overcame everything with your own strength. No. There was a hand holding you when your knees were ready to buckle. There was a divine breath warming you when your heart felt too cold to feel anything at all. And now, as the calling becomes clear, you begin to understand why it all happened, not to weaken you, but to make you deep enough, real enough, sensitive enough to hear the message that many souls cannot hear. You were shaped not for ordinary victories, but for a journey that requires the endurance of someone who has known the taste of darkness. What is strange is that through all those years, no matter how tired you were, there was always a tiny moment, so small, where you felt lifted. Maybe a sentence from a stranger, a soft breeze, a thought that made you pause before giving up, a dream you could not explain, or a spark of faith rising in your heart even when your logic was falling apart. Those flashes of light were not accidents. They were whispers reminding you that you were still being guided. You did not hear clearly, but your soul understood. And today, that understanding becomes the touch that awakens you. The message no longer lingers at the edge of your awareness. It stands before you like a flame rising in the night, illuminating every outline of the destiny you thought had been forgotten. You begin to look back on those years with different eyes. Your wounds are no longer proof of failure, but signs that you were protected. Every breakdown was a chapter closing to make space for a greater one. Everyone who left was clearing room for those you are meant to meet. Everything that felt like loss was a rearranging that brought you to this exact moment. And this moment is no longer the time of endurance. It is the time of transformation. You are being called out of old fears. You are being called out of old limits. You are being called out of the tight garments life forced you to wear. Today, you are no longer standing as the wounded one. You are standing as the chosen one. This truth may make you hesitate, because you have grown used to living as if your soul held no real worth. You have grown used to surviving instead of living fully, but the message does not come to tell you to try harder. It comes to tell you that you are already enough. Enough pain to understand, enough strength to step forward, enough light to recognize the hand reaching toward you. You are standing on the edge of a very great chapter. You can feel it, even if you cannot name it yet. And right here, the sacred begins touching the places you thought would never be healed, not to soothe you for a moment, but to rebuild you from the foundation up. When you realize this, a part of you, the part that has been silent for so many years, begins to awaken. It no longer whispers. It urges you. It pulls you toward the light opening before you. And as you step closer, you no longer walk as someone lost. You walk as someone who has finally understood why God kept you alive through all those years. Because He is preparing to lead you into the next chapter of your journey, the chapter for which every past trial was only the opening line. And as this awareness quietly spreads through you like light flowing through the cracks, something else begins to reveal itself. The path ahead will not open with thunder or strange signs, but with a very subtle shift inside your heart. You feel yourself being gently moved forward, not by pressure, but by an urging like an underground stream searching for its way out. You are no longer only remembering what has happened. You are beginning to sense that everything is preparing to change. In this moment, the events that once confused, you begin to fall into a new order. You remember the times life slammed its doors right when you thought things were finally settling. You remember opportunities disappearing without a trace, promises never fulfilled, and relationships stretched long only to end in silence. Back then, you thought all of it was failure. But now, standing in the light of this moment, you see something different. Every closed door had another direction prepared. You simply had not seen it yet. In the space between what was lost and what has not yet arrived, God placed small signs, subtle but clear enough that if you look closely, you will see they have been there all along. An unexpected meeting that held you back at the right moment. An unexplainable feeling that made you change your route. A powerful thought rising in your mind at the exact time you thought you had hit the bottom. These things were not accidents, not impulses. They were pieces intentionally placed, guiding you to the point where you stand now. And then, like cool water slipping into your mind, a verse that once slept quietly rises within you. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 3:7-4. Not a promise of ease, but a confirmation that what your soul longs for most has never been out of reach. You only needed to anchor your heart in the right place. When what you seek is no longer about running from pain, but stepping into what He has prepared, everything begins to shift. You recognize this in the smallest moments. Peace is no longer distant. It begins to settle into your breath. Fear does not vanish completely, but it no longer controls you. And above all, you begin to tell the difference between the noise of the world and the message quietly guiding you. It is not loud, not harsh, not demanding. It simply exists, steady, like the first light of morning. If you pay closer attention, you will feel that each next step is being shown to you naturally. Nothing is abrupt. Nothing is rushed. You only need to follow the vibration within, the feeling you once called intuition, but now recognize as guidance. And in this moment, something small yet important happens. You begin to believe that you are not lost. You have never been lost. You simply could not see the full picture. From that awareness, something else grows. The desire to walk with people who see the true value of this journey. You no longer wish to move through life in the forced solitude you have endured. You want to connect with other souls who hear the same message, who search for direction in the chaos, who feel called towards something greater than what the eyes can see. That is why invitations into community, even the gentlest ones, reach you deeply, not because you need approval, but because your soul knows that sacred journeys grow stronger when shared. The responses, the stories, the honest exchanges are not social rituals. They are echoes of awakened souls finding each other. You are not being lured. You are not being swept by the crowd. You are searching for what belongs to you, a place where the calling within you is not dimmed, a space where your light is seen instead of hidden. When you share a thought, when you join this journey with others, it does not make you dependent. It makes you stronger because you are declaring that you are ready to step into the new chapter, ready to receive what has always been yours. From that moment on, you begin to feel a movement inside you, like a soft wind, placing its hand on your shoulder, urging you one step forward. You do not need to see the entire road to begin. You only need to listen to the message saying the time has come. God did not lead you through all those years of trials for you to remain standing still. He took you that far so you could stand in this season with a strength that someone who has never stumbled could never possess. You may not see it clearly, but the path ahead is brightening. Not with a blinding light that overwhelms you, but with a glow gentle enough for you to see the next step. Each small step will lead you out of old limits, out of the fears that once held you back, and into a journey you were prepared for long ago. And at the threshold of this shift, you realize the calling is not a distant, sacred message. It is the answer to everything you once asked. It is the key to the door you have knocked on for years. It is the confirmation that you are ready, not ready to return to the life you had, but ready to step into the next chapter, where you will no longer just survive, but begin to live as the person you were created to become. And as your steps move deeper into the light opening before you, something begins to change in the way you see the world. The things that once passed by like meaningless fragments suddenly connect, forming a picture with order, intention, and a guiding hand behind it. You begin to remember moments that once seemed small, but now look like stones placed with precision, one by one, leading you to the exact place you stand today. It might have been the time you chose a different path without knowing why. The time you held back from a hurried decision, even when you felt certain. The time you met a stranger whose words touched you as if they knew what you were carrying. The time you felt an unexpected urge to stop, keep quiet, or turn around. When these moments happened, you treated them as confusing coincidences. But now, looking back, you realize they were quiet messages you never knew you were hearing. You once waited for a big sign, something so clear that you could not deny it, a strange dream, a warning, a miracle. But the truth is, the deepest miracles often arrive in the simplest forms. God rarely uses thunder. He usually uses gentle touches that only souls sensitive enough can detect. And you, even when you thought you were hardened, have always been a soul that could sense the slightest movements of the sacred. That is why you can feel this stirring. Not everyone feels it. Not everyone stands at the threshold of spiritual awakening the way you do. Some people go through their whole lives without ever recognizing their calling. But you are different. You have lived enough, heard enough, walked through enough darkness for your heart to become refined and quiet, able to catch the wave of what is coming. When you notice that, you also see clearly that nothing that ever happened was meaningless. The nights you were so tired, you wanted to disappear. The moments you vaguely felt someone pulling you toward the light, but you turned away. The seasons that felt empty, hopeless, cold, all of it had purpose. Every step, even the backward ones, led you here to the moment when the calling becomes as clear as a flame rising in the night. And in the moment you recognize that guidance, a powerful message seems carved straight into your mind. Do not fear, for I am with you. Isaiah 4:110. Not an empty promise meant to comfort you, not a vague reassurance, but a declaration from the one who has walked beside you since the first day you understood loneliness. It does not come to erase your fear, but to remind you that fear has never had the authority to direct your life. From the moment that truth rises within you, the world begins to shift in color. It is not the world that changes, it is you. You start to see opportunities hidden beneath what once felt random. You see your life events fitting together. No longer a string of failures, but a preparation. Every time you thought you were pushed into a dead end, you were actually being led toward a safer way. Every time you thought you lost a chance, you avoided something not meant for you. And every time you were pulled away from something that hurt you, you were being moved closer to what would heal you. This leads you to a simple but profound question. If God guided you so carefully through your hardest days, what happens when you truly open your heart to follow Him? When you do not only get nudged forward, but step forward willingly? That question does not frighten you. It awakens you. It lifts your head after years of lowering it to protect yourself. What happens next becomes even clearer. You start to see signs right before your eyes. Things you once dismissed now shine like torches in the night. You notice coincidences, but this time you do not ignore them. You see words appear exactly when you are searching for direction. You think of someone and they reach out. You You walk into a random place and hear the very answer you have waited for. This is not chance. This is the message becoming so close that it feels like a thin breeze brushing your skin, and something else changes within you. The old vigilance is no longer heavy. You no longer fear that good things will disappear. You no longer fear you are unworthy of guidance. You no longer fear that this peace is an illusion. Because for the first time in a long time, you are not the one holding on. It is the sacred that is holding you. You begin to understand that the message does not only speak through big events, it speaks through the most familiar parts of your life. The steady breath after anxiety, the slowed heartbeat when peace finally settles, the gentle warmth spreading through your chest when you realize you are no longer alone. All of it is whisper. All of it is light. Then another shift happens, subtle but powerful. You no longer ask why things happen to you, but start asking where He is leading you. And in the moment the question changes, a new path opens. When you ask why, you face the past. When you ask where, you step into the future. And that future is not vague. It is the chapter unfolding right before your eyes. A chapter whose first step is realizing you have been hearing the message all along, without knowing. A chapter where signs are no longer overlooked, but recognized as stepping stones. A chapter where your inner light, once dimmed by pain, begins to rise again. You are no longer someone waiting for a miracle. You are stepping into the miracle, not with trembling feet, but with a heart deep enough to understand that the message never arrives at the wrong time. It always comes when the soul is strong enough to carry it, and you, right now, are carrying it. You are standing in the light of awakening, where life is no longer just what you see, but what you are being guided to become. The message is still speaking, soft but steady, and you know the journey has truly begun. And as this awakening quietly spreads through your inner world, you begin to feel something that once appeared only as a faint intuition. You are not only being guided, you are being prepared. The scattered pieces of your life begin turning toward their true positions, and as they touch one another, a larger picture emerges, a picture that your old eyes would have believed was never meant for you. But now, with light rising from within, you know everything is moving in the right direction. Even if you cannot yet see the full design, you realize that the journey of chosen souls always carries stretches of darkness so deep they seem impossible to escape. But it is exactly in those dark places that qualities like endurance, faithfulness, stillness, and intuition become sharpened. Joseph had to go into the pit and then the prison before he stood before the king. Esther had to walk into a foreign palace before she became the one who saved her people. Peter had to face his own weakness before he became a foundation builder. These stories are not meant to make you feel small, but to show you that your path is not unfamiliar. You are walking paths once marked by souls carrying missions far greater than they realized. And as you look back, a truth becomes clear as daylight. The things you thought you lost, the things you believed God no longer remembered, are still within His plan. You once felt delayed, slowed down, left behind. But now you see that nothing was late. Everything was being led to the right moment. The words in the book of Joel return like a gentle confirmation from the sacred. I will restore to you the years that were devoured. Joel 2:5. Not restore as before, not patch together, but restore in the way only the Creator can, turning loss into foundation, turning pain into growth. As that promise flows through you, you begin to feel the dreams once buried by fear, hurt, and doubt starting to shift. They no longer lie still. They begin to rise like the ground trembling after a long winter. You are not imagining it. It is the sign of a soul remembering what it was born to do, remembering the dreams that once made your eyes shine, remembering what you longed to devote your life to before the world taught you to shrink. Awakening is not discovering something new. It is remembering something true that was covered. Looking deeper, you begin to see that every season of your life carries a mark. There are marks of shadow, marks of fear, marks of closed doors. But there are also marks of sacred touches you overlooked. And as these marks weave together, a familiar symbol rises again in your thoughts. 777. Not as a random number, not as a strange sign, but as a spiritual imprint that has followed you for a long time, waiting for the day you were bright enough to recognize it. 777. The number of spiritual completion, the closing of old cycles and the opening of divine plans. The number confirming you are not moving in the wrong direction, that heaven is working behind what your eyes cannot see. When it rises in your mind, it is not to create mystery, but to remind you that you are stepping into a new layer of the journey, a layer where everything becomes clearer, lighter, brighter, a layer where sacred energy no longer comes in fragments, but flows continuously. And as you feel the presence of 777 like a seal, your soul understands this is not only a season of restoration, but a season of rebirth. You are not called to carry the old fragments anymore. You are called to carry what is being born within you. Confidence no longer comes from proving anything, but from seeing the sacred move through you. At the same time, you feel a new expansion, the ability to see opportunities you once believed were not meant for you, the strength to step into things you once thought were beyond your reach, the peace to trust that even if the path ahead is not fully revealed, you are moving in the right direction. Each step you take is no longer the step of someone afraid of being wrong, but of someone who knows they are being led. And within that certainty, another awareness rises, the responsibility of light. Because when a person is awakened, they do not only transform themselves, they shift the atmosphere around them. Those who cross your path will feel the energy growing within you, not as a display of power, but as a steady light that shines from those who finally recognize the true worth of their soul. You do not need to speak loudly. You do not need to prove yourself. Simply by standing where you are meant to stand, the light spreads on its own. And as the light spreads, you begin to see that what once disappointed you the most is now what lifts you the highest. What once hurt you the deepest is now shaping your strength. What once made you want to quit is now the place where you are being rebuilt from the roots. And through it all, you feel yourself changing, not gently, but profoundly. Not only in emotion, but in the very structure of your soul. The strange thing is, the deeper you walk into this journey, the clearer it becomes that the greatest event is not happening outside. It is happening within. It is not the people who hurt you who have changed. You are the one changing. It is not the world becoming easier. You are becoming stronger. And it is not the light searching for you. You are stepping into the light that has always been yours. From this moment on, you are no longer someone watching life pass by. You are someone walking with the flow of it. You are no longer looking for miracles. You are beginning to live as if you are part of the miracle itself. And when this happens, you know that your journey has entered a new stage, a stage of expansion, rebirth, and confirmation. A stage where the message no longer speaks from afar, but from within you, like water flowing through soil that was once dry. You are moving in the right direction. You are standing in the right moment. And the next chapter of the journey is waiting for you to step into it. And as this rebirth begins to take root within you, the path ahead does not open with ease, but with a new layer of refinement, not to punish you, but to shape you. You feel clearly that the light within you is growing, yet at the same time, the familiar shadows begin to move, as if they know their time is ending. Not the outer shadows, but the ones that lived quietly in the smallest rooms of your inner world. The doubt, the hesitation, the returning fear, the thought that maybe you are still not strong enough to step into the new chapter. These things do not vanish at once. They step forward like a final test to see whether you are truly ready. In the early days of this stage, you feel a strange tension. On one hand, you are lifted by a new faith so strong it seems unbreakable. Yet on the other hand, the old voices rise again, the ones that once made you shrink, the ones that said you were not enough, that you should not dream too far, that your peace was just an accident. These voices are not the truth. They are echoes of old wounds that have not yet understood you are no longer the same. But in the middle of those chaotic echoes, one quiet truth becomes clear. You are no longer fighting alone. You no longer have to force yourself to stand. A new strength is moving within you, deeper than any logical belief. And with that strength comes a verse that feels lit from within. He will cover you with his wings, and under his wings you will find refuge. Psalm 9:1-4. Not a romantic image. It is the confirmation that in the refinement, you are being protected, not from the storms, but within the storms. As that verse flows through your mind, you begin to understand something only souls deep on the journey can recognize. Challenges do not come to break you. They come to measure the wings you are being given. And you begin to notice a change in how you face difficulty. Before, you avoided. Now, you stay. Before, you struggled. Now, you listen. Before, you thought pain was a sign of abandonment. Now, you understand that pain is the necessary breaking of the soil for the seed of light within you to bloom. Then a moment comes, like a doorway opening, allowing you to see something you once had no strength to see. Some challenges do not come from outside. They come from things you have carried too long. They are memories no longer aligned with who you are becoming. They are connections that make you shrink instead of expand. They are beliefs that once kept you safe when you were fragile, but now have become chains as you grow stronger. When you recognize that, you understand that true liberation is not fighting the world, but releasing what weighs you down inside. In that release, you have moments that are deeply human, moments of strength and weakness, peace and confusion. You stand in the threshold between two worlds, the old world trying to pull you back, and the new world opening to welcome you. And in that unsteady moment, another message rises to steady you. Cast all your worries on Him, because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. You no longer need to carry everything alone. You no longer need to fight in silence. You are allowed to be weak, allowed to let go, allowed to trust that someone is lifting you. And in that process, you begin learning the first lesson of the new journey: forgiveness. Not the kind of forgiveness where you force yourself to forget. Not the polite kind meant to seem noble, but real forgiveness. The kind that grows from the understanding that the things that hurt you were simply pieces shaping the soul you carry now. You forgive not because others deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. You forgive not to erase the past, but to keep the past from shaping your future. Forgiving others, forgiving yourself, forgiving the older versions of you who were afraid, who made mistakes, who took the long way around. In that forgiveness, you feel something fall away, light but unmistakable, like a chain unlocking, and a new breath fills you, deeper than any breath before. From that breath comes the second lesson: courage. Not courage to conquer others, but to face the deepest parts of yourself. Courage to look at the things you once avoided. Courage to see that not every pain has an enemy. Sometimes pain is simply an invitation to step into your stronger self. And as you stand before that truth, no longer running, something strange happens. Fear begins to shrink. It does not disappear completely, but it no longer stands in front as it once did. It is as if it realizes you are finally looking straight at it. And in that gaze, it loses its power. And in the moment, courage becomes real. You see clearly that this journey does not ask you to be perfect. It only asks you to continue. Just one step, one breath, one right choice at the right time. These small things, repeated each day, will carry you farther than any dramatic leap. You do not need to know the whole path to begin. You only need to know the next step is already glowing before you. From that light, you feel another energy arrive. The understanding that you are not walking alone. Even when everything around you seems silent, you are not alone. There is a presence walking with you, unseen, but felt more clearly than ever. This presence may arrive in a coincidence, in a dream, in the words of a stranger, or in a strange quiet moment within your mind. It does not shout. It simply walks beside you, making every step lighter. From here, a new chapter is preparing to open. The chapter of the true journey, where you will be refined, guided, and expanded, not to prove your worth, but to discover the true measure of your soul. And the light you carry will be the lamp for every part of the path ahead, where transformation is no longer a promise, but a reality, forming beneath every step you take. And as your steps grow familiar with the refinement unfolding around you, a new stillness begins to flow into your soul. Not the stillness of emptiness, but of a strength quietly maturing within. You begin to see that the sacred does not touch you only in your brightest moments, but also in the deepest valleys of your life, in the places where you once believed you had been forgotten. It is there that a new kind of love begins to bloom. Not a love from people, but from a greater, warmer, steadier source. It does not arrive like a wave crashing on the shore, but like the warmth of a rising sun, gentle yet unstoppable. In that light, you feel your heart opening in a way you never allowed before. No more resistance, no more walls, no more locking yourself behind old layers of protection. The things you once feared facing, The hurt, the loss, the fear of being abandoned no longer make you shrink back. They grow small when placed beneath something far greater than them all: surrender. Not surrender to fate, but surrender to a larger design. A current you finally recognize as the one you belong to. And when the heart opens, love in its deepest form begins to return. Not romantic love, not the kind that makes you wait for someone, but the love that heals you from the inside. The love that allows you to see your worth not through the eyes of people, but through the eyes of the one who called you before you knew who you were. That love brings a strange peace, like standing in the wind knowing that no matter how the world turns, you belong to an anchor that never moves. From that love, a beautiful surrender begins to take shape. Not giving up, but letting go of the need to control everything. The things you once held tightly, you begin to see they do not need to be in your hands to be safe. You begin to let life unfold, not in passivity, but in trust. You see what arrives as a doorway, not a threat. You see what leaves as a natural ending, not a loss. And in that surrender, you feel something deep, your soul breathing easier. In this moment, a verse enters like a pure fragrance, wrapping itself around your heart. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 4:610. It does not speak like a warning, but like a gentle hand resting on your shoulder, reminding you that you do not need to be strong to the point of exhaustion. You do not need to scramble in fear. You do not need to find every answer right away. You only need to be still and know. Know that a hand is holding your life. Know that a power is making a way when all you see is fog. Know that a love has never left you, no matter how many times you wandered. From that stillness, a new movement appears in your life: connection. Not connection with the crowd, but with souls who recognize the growing light within you. Casual conversations suddenly become deep. People you once saw as ordinary become messengers, bringing words, resonance, and missing pieces. You no longer feel you are walking alone. Those who walk with you are not people you pulled in, but people who were led to you, as if they too are walking toward the same sacred call. This connection is not loud, not dramatic. It is quiet, but powerful. These souls do not direct you, they shine alongside you. They do not pull you, they walk in rhythm with you. And in that harmony you understand that the spiritual journey is never a solitary one. It is always an exchange of energy, an echo between awakened souls, a resonance forming a wider field of light. In that connection, something strange happens. You become more comfortable speaking your truth. Not truth to impress, not truth to convince, but truth to release. You speak of old pain without trembling. You speak of old dreams without shame. You speak of the sacred without fear of judgment. You begin to realize your voice was not made only for conversation. It was made for healing. And every time you share, you are not teaching. You are making room for the light to flow more freely. This openness changes more than your words. It changes the way you see others. You start to notice the pain hidden in their eyes, even when they smile. You see the exhaustion in their voice, even when they pretend to be strong. You recognize that every soul carries its own battle. And instead of judging, your heart wants to lift them, even with just a word, a look, or your presence. This compassion does not make you weaker. It makes you more like the light you are stepping into. And as your heart expands, you feel yourself being refined on a new level, the level of unconditional love. Not the kind that blinds you, but the kind that sees clearly and still chooses gentleness. The kind that does not hold people by force, but lets them be free. The kind that does not come from lack, but from fullness. And from that fullness, you realize you were born not only to live, but to shine. But at the same time, you understand that this love will ask you to leave certain things behind. There are relationships you must set down, habits you must release, people who cannot walk into the next chapter with you. It does not hurt because of loss, but because of change. Yet this change is necessary because the light within you is expanding. It needs space, it needs air, it needs a new environment to grow. And in the moment you accept that expansion, you realize the journey is not only about healing or overcoming darkness, it is also about learning to love, learning to release, learning to connect, learning to stand in your light without fear of being too bright. That light is not for show, it is for guidance, not to lift you above others, but to help you see yourself more clearly. From here, You are stepping into the deepest part of the journey, where love, surrender, and connection merge into one, carrying you toward the place your soul has been reaching for since the beginning: transformation. This is not the destination. This is the place where you prepare to enter your most radiant season, where the light no longer just comes to you, but begins to shine from within you. And as your heart opens wide enough to feel connection, love, and surrender, a deeper movement begins within you, no longer soft trembling, but a clear, rising, as if your whole being is stepping into the meeting place between the seen and the unseen. This light does not come from outside. It rises from the very place that once broke inside you. It is not loud, not blazing, but unfolds like a galaxy expanding in your chest, making you realize you are standing at the threshold of true transformation. In that delicate moment, you begin to feel time slow down. Everything around you becomes quieter, deeper, as if the outer world is stepping back to give you space to enter your sacred ground. You are no longer pulled into the past, no longer pushed into the future. You stand in an expanded present, and in that present, you hear the message more clearly than ever, not through sound, but through awareness. A truth that cannot be denied, a certainty that cannot be shaken. You did not search for it. It came to you, and when it arrives, a scripture rises, as though it has waited for this exact second to step forward. Let your heart be renewed in Him. Romans 1:2. It comes like a call into the very center of your soul, into the place where you once hid your most fragile parts, not to expose them, but to heal them, not to judge them, but to transform them, not to remind you of old limits, but to open a horizon you once believed you could never touch. This transformation does not come as one explosive moment. It comes as old layers slipping away and new layers forming. You feel yourself like a vessel once cracked, now being mended with light, turning the fractures into places where the light shines brightest. Everything that once brought you to your knees now becomes material for your strength. Everything that once made you doubt now becomes the reason you believe more deeply. Everything that once made you feel small now becomes proof that you were called to something greater. From that point, you begin to see your true role, not your role in the eyes of the world, but in the sacred plan prepared long before. You no longer live just to survive the day. You live to carry light wherever you go. You no longer rise after each fall as someone barely holding on. You rise as someone who understands that falling was an invitation to become stronger. You no longer ask, "Why me?" You begin asking, "What do I do with the gift you placed in my hands?" In that awareness, you see clearly that not everyone reaches this stage. Some souls stop at healing, some stop at surrender, but you are carried further into the realm of transformation, where light no longer comes to you, but begins to radiate from you. And as that light spreads, you realize you are no longer the person you once were. The way you see others changes. The way you see yourself changes. The way you see the world changes. Everything becomes clear, as if touched by the gold of morning light. But this transformation does not happen without tension. There are moments when you feel yourself shedding an old skin, and it feels both painful and freeing. Moments when your heart feels empty, as if you are losing something, but you are only making room for the new to enter. Renewal always has an in-between space, and you are standing in that space now, a space only courageous souls can remain in. In this place of crossing, you recognize a greater truth. You cannot transform while holding the things that once pulled you down. You cannot fly while holding the stones of fear, resentment, and doubt. You cannot enter the new chapter wearing the clothes of the old one. So you begin to release, not in bitterness, but in trust that the sacred hand is preparing something better for you. In that release, something miraculous happens. Your heart feels lighter than it ever has. A stream of light rises from your chest to your throat, and then to the crown of your head, making you feel lifted from the weight of the world, not in a physical sense, but in a spiritual one, as if gravity no longer owns you. You walk lighter, you think lighter, you breathe lighter. The things that once weighed you down feel distant now, like memories of a person you are leaving behind. And in that open space, another truth is revealed. You have stepped into the deepest part of the journey, the part the world may not see, but the sacred realm celebrates, because you have arrived at the right time, in the right place, with the right capacity. From here, you do not just experience the light, You become the light, not a light to show off, not a light to stand above others, but a light that guides, a light that heals, a light that reminds wandering souls that they too are called, loved, and led, just as you were. And as you stand in this transformation, you feel clearly that a completely new chapter is opening, a chapter no longer about finding yourself, but becoming the version God has seen in you all along, a version brighter, deeper, wider, and truer, a version not shaped by pain, but forged by light. You have stepped into the center of the journey, and the sacred is waiting for you to take one more step into the next phase, where the transformation within you will begin to take form in the world around you. And as this transformation sinks into every breath, every thought, every step you take, as if you have walked through fire without carrying the smell of smoke, your soul opens into a new space, the space of understanding. No longer do the old questions weigh on your mind. Why did that happen? Why did I have to endure this? Why did I feel so lost? Instead, you see an invisible order connecting everything that once seemed scattered, as if a hand gathered every fragment and set them in their precise place to form the greater picture you never had the depth to see before. In this clarity, a quiet but powerful truth rises. Nothing in your journey was wasted. No pain was pointless. No fall was meaningless. Every moment was a lesson, a preparation, a refinement designed to open the deepest part of you, the part that knows how to love, how to trust, how to listen, and how to walk in the light without needing to see the entire path. As soon as you see this, you begin to understand the message this journey has been trying to place in your hands. It is not a promise of a life without challenges. It is not a miracle story for you to cling to. The message is the confirmation that you were born with a sacred purpose greater than fear, greater than hurt, greater than any limit life ever placed on you. You were not created just to survive. You were created to shine. And in the moment you recognize this, a scripture touches you like a soothing breeze. Let your light shine before others. Matthew 5:1-6. You understand that this light is not meant only for you. It is meant to be shared, like a flame passed from one candle to another, never diminishing, but making the room brighter. You do not need perfection to shine. You only need honesty with the sacred presence living within you. From that truth, a greater message, the message meant for your soul, begins taking shape. It calls you back to the deeper meaning of being chosen. Chosen not to stand out, but to stand strong. Chosen not to prove yourself, but to uplift others. Chosen not to become something strange, but to return to the truest version of yourself, the version God has seen all along, a soul strong, steady, and able to heal through its very presence. And as you stand in that awareness, you see clearly that everything you endured, the wounds, the dark nights, the moments you wanted to quit, nourished this capacity. You cannot comfort the hurting without knowing that pain. You cannot bring light into darkness without walking through night. You cannot speak hope without having stood in despair. None of it came to break you. It came to shape you into a soul that can touch other souls. In that vision, you sense another layer of the message, the strength of perseverance. Not perseverance as endurance alone, but perseverance as knowing the sacred was working even when your eyes could not see. You look back at the moments you thought you were abandoned, and you understand that those were the moments God was digging foundations in you. You look back at the days of waiting without answers, and you see that those were the days He was aligning your path. Perseverance did not let you collapse. It brought you to the precise place you stand now. To seal this truth, another verse rises. Gentle but firm as a drumbeat in the earth, He will make your steps firm on His path. Psalm 3:7-3. This word draws a straight line through all the winding roads you have taken. It does not say the path is easy. It says every step carries meaning and a sacred steadiness no one can take from you. And in that clarity, you begin to see that the message is not only for you, it is being sent through you. You become the bridge, the anchor, the reminder that divine guidance never goes silent. Those who pass by you, even for a moment, will feel a trace of this light, not because you try to shine, but because the transformation in you can no longer be hidden. You may never have imagined you could carry such influence, but light does not choose its vessel by appearance. It chooses by depth. And your soul, after everything it has endured, has become deep enough to hold this light. From here, the message to your soul becomes unmistakably clear. you are no longer searching for meaning. You are carrying meaning. You are no longer asking where God is. You are beginning to live inside the answer. You are no longer looking for purpose. You are becoming purpose. And as you stand at this point of intersection, where the light within you meets the light from the sacred realm, a new layer of understanding pours in. Smooth as water flowing through your fingers, your purpose has always been to be the reminder that light never abandons any soul, not even the most wounded, the most lost, the most silent. You are not a saint. You are not perfect. You are simply someone willing to walk, to open, to listen, to let the light touch you. And that is enough for you to become a lamp in the hand of the one who called you from the very beginning. Now the invitation begins to appear. Not an invitation to leave your old life, but an invitation to enter an entirely new chapter. A chapter where you no longer ask, "What must I do?" but instead ask, "Where does the light want to go through me?" You feel the final chapter approaching, not to end the story, but to open the doorway into the life rewritten by the light you have just found. And as this new chapter begins opening before you, each breath grows deeper and fuller, as if your soul is preparing to walk through a doorway carved from light. You feel it not only with your thoughts, but with the intuition, awakened after a long journey. Every step you take now seems lifted by an invisible strength, so clear you cannot deny it. You understand this is no longer the time to look back, nor the time to seek reassurance. This is the moment you step into the role written for you long before you knew your own name. A holy stillness settles into you, and in that stillness, a scripture rises like warmth, touching your heart. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Joshua 1:9. These words rest on your shoulders like a cloak, turning what once frightened you into what now makes you stand taller. Not because you have become unbreakable, but because you know you no longer walk alone. That divine companionship becomes the foundation of every step ahead. As you let these words sink into you, you understand that this final part of the journey is not an ending. It is the beginning of a different way of living, a way in which you walk not only with your will, but in harmony with the sacred intention guiding you. You no longer search for signs, because you yourself have become a sign. You no longer ask where the path is, because the ground opens beneath your feet step by step, as if the earth recognizes you are ready to walk on it. And in that clarity, another layer of understanding opens. Your calling is no longer found in the question, "What am I meant to do?" but in the answer, "Who am I meant to become?" You are called to become the one who brings peace into unrest, the one who brings hope into emptiness, the one who carries light into places still in shadow, not through dramatic words, but through the presence that shines from a soul touched by God. A gentle psalm rises like morning mist. You are the lamp for my feet and the light on my path. Psalm 119, 105. This becomes the assurance that every step you take has guidance. You no longer fear the dark spaces ahead, because darkness cannot hide the growing light within you. You no longer rush to see the entire journey, because a single illuminated step is enough. As long as you follow what your soul is urging, keep moving forward. As this guidance becomes clear, another truth appears. You have become an instrument of the sacred, not in loud greatness, but in steady simplicity. Every action you take, whether small or great, carries echoes of the divine. A kind word, a gentle touch, a timely decision, all of these can shift the direction of another soul. And this is the essence of your calling. You do not need a spotlight. You only need to be true to the light living within you. As that light continues to grow, you begin to see something many people never see. Every event, every wound, every moment you sank was a subtle invitation leading you to this moment. You survived places that seemed impossible to survive. You rose from endings that looked final. You kept walking on days when the sacred hand felt silent. And all of it, from beginning to now, was preparation. You did not only survive, you matured. You did not only rise, you transformed. In the moment you see this, another scripture opens before you. I will restore you and heal your wounds. Jeremiah 3:0-17. This word reminds you not only of the healing already done, but of the new life flowing through you. It confirms that everything lost can return in deeper, wider, more sacred form. And as you open yourself to this restoration, you begin to feel a pure current moving through you. like an underground spring newly awakened. This flow not only revives you, it moves outward, touching the places you walk into, the people you meet, the words you speak. You become living water, not proud, not loud, but quietly transforming the space around you. Then the final truth of the journey reveals itself. You have become the one who carries the calling. Not a calling to stand alone, but to guide, to uplift, and to pass on the light you have received. You begin to sense the souls who will come toward you, not because you are above them, but because they see in you what they are longing to rediscover in themselves: peace, steadiness, hope, and connection to something higher. And as if to seal this with one last affirmation, a final scripture rises in your inner quiet. Those who trust in Him will never be put to shame. Isaiah 4:9-3. This becomes a stamp on your soul, assuring you that the path ahead will be protected, guided, and opened. Now everything is clear. You are no longer the seeker. You are the one who carries. You no longer walk in the dark. You walk with light. You no longer search for purpose. You are living that purpose in every breath. And before you cross the new doorway, your soul is invited to notice the sacred numbers that have walked beside you in this journey. The number 777, the number of divine completion, of heavenly confirmation, of the assurance that you have stepped in rhythm, begins to resonate within you like a distant bell. It reminds you that this journey is not aimless, it is blessed. If you feel that number echoing in your heart, or if another number is calling your name, share it. Not to prove anything, but to open a door for yourself, to let your soul speak in its own language. Now the path ahead is glowing. That light is not calling you backward, but forward. And as you step, you realize you are not only walking into your future, you are walking toward the person you were created to become. Grateful that you chose to spend these moments in the light of this story. If it touched your soul, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so the next whisper of light may find its way back to you.